All right. Well, I want to welcome everyone to a special edition today with Julie Harrell, the president of Cooper Scoopers. Julie, welcome.
Thanks, Kelly. I'm so excited to be here. Been quite the journey and very thrilled to share some exciting updates with Coopers.
Well, that's why we're talking. I've heard that you've had some updated services, so we'll get into that in a moment. But before we begin, for those that might be hearing the brand for the first time, give us a little bit of story about what Cooper Scoopers is and how it all got started.
Well, it really got started with our incredible founder. She was sitting down with her grandparents, who we know how important companionship is in the elderly community. And they were having a really big issue keeping their backyard clean and their pet cared for. So with the booming pet care industry, as well as the need, Shayna Denny created Cooper Scoopers. I graciously and very excitedly stepped into the role of president just back in December of 24. And we have had quite the ride so far and are just continuing to grow, servicing pets in multiple different ways nowadays.
That's awesome. So, as a franchise organization in 2025, what's your total franchisee location count today?
So we're opening our 14th location in 2 weeks. So a lot of territory growth happening across the entire nation.
Wow. So that's your 14th unit franchisee, 14th truck.
14th location. So we have 8 franchisees within our system, and they are snatching up multiple
Oh,
territories.
wow. So you have some operators that are already multiple unit owners and operators. Wow. That's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, Cooper Scoopers comes under the umbrella of a pretty big backing name and organization, in addition to Shayna Denny, who's also the founder of another pet-related brand called Dog Drop. In addition to her and the other founders of the organization, you're under the umbrella of Loyalty Brands and Mr. John Hewitt, who is synonymous for creating two very well-known household names throughout the country in North America, Liberty Tax Service and Jackson Hewitt. So how's that been working with Mr. Hewitt?
So, I mean, I cannot even put words to the support, the expertise, not only from John Hewitt, but the entire brand at Loyalty. We all see the need in the pet care industry, and then being able to apply so much experience in franchising to make sure that we have successful franchisees in all of our locations. It's allowed us to get to the level of territories that we're at today.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so obviously
Yeah.
you've got that corporate support and a structure with three other pet brands, right? You've got Cooper Scoopers, Zuma Grumman, Salty Dog, the brick and mortar location, and Hike Doggy. So I know the vision that you and Mr. Hewitt have put together is to cross market those services amongst pet parents. So super happy to hear of that success out of the gate so far. And obviously, one of the real pieces of our conversation today is the direction the company's going today and the other services you're offering. Your vision, you told me last week, was you want to be a total pet care solution. What does that mean? What does that look like?
We want to take over pet care, especially the essential pet care needs for
Mhm.
homeowners and businesses in every market, right?
So we're not just scoop and poop today.
We're not. And we're not just doing that because we listened to what our customers were saying. It started off very, very early. It was incredible to see, right? So you're already at a pet parent's home, you're taking care of their yard, your communication, the service that you're providing, they're just wildly impressed and they trust you. Then they have other needs, right? You're already at their home. I have that need every single day, but those other needs are dog walking, pet sitting, and we're seeing a huge uptick in drop-in pet care. So me as a pet parent owner, I have a need. I sit in an office in my home all day long. Unfortunately, sweet little Maggie girl down here gets 0 walks. If I'm very fortunate, I can take a Zoom call with my AirPods in. But it's a need for pet parents that are at home and working for those additional services. But again, that recurring dog walking is a huge need in our communities. And then becoming that solution, again, that total solution in every neighborhood that we're servicing.
Yeah. So when we think about dog walking, what comes top of mind for me is Rover. What's different between Cooper's and a Rover?
Consistency and reliability. So that is our number one feedback from our pet parents and all of the services that we offer, especially the dog walking. They know that somebody, a trained pet care specialist who also has a background check, is going to be entering their home. They're going to have over communication. They're going to have a picture of their dog after they've had an excellent walk. And again, it's somebody that they trust is going to show up when they need them to.
Yeah,
Just
that's
huge. We're all looking for that, right? Reliability is so key when we're talking about our sweet babies and our precious, even our cats. We don't want
yeah,
cats yet, though. We're working on that.
that could be quite an act. So pet walking, dog walking specifically. And I'm down here in Columbia, South Carolina, and I don't know, do you walk goats or pigs or chickens?
No, we haven't stepped into the farm animals yet, but we do have some unique pet waste removal requests.
Oh, I'm
So
sure. Well, you've got the pet walking now, and let's talk a little bit. I can relate to pet sitting or even house sitting with my pets. I have an option. I've got big dogs. I can take them to a kennel. They can be kept overnight. I'm going to pay upwards of $90 per pet, and I have to pay extra if I have them exercised or if I have them play extra playtime with other dogs. I even have to pay extra if I want them to be together as opposed to in two separate units. It's costly. It's not practical. A lot of times, huffing around two large dogs. Tell me how that experience is going to be different with Cooper Scoopers, with pet
Well,
sitting.
it really comes down to one less thing that you have to worry about when you're going on a trip, when you're traveling, right? So you have, again, somebody you trust, somebody you like, somebody you know, and somebody that your dogs like and know. So we always make sure that we're going to do a meet and greet. Prior to any sort of pet sitting within your home, we're going to make sure that we understand your pet's behavior and their needs. Your pet is going to have minimal stress because while you're gone, their favorite person in the whole wide world, right? They're already like, where did my dad go? They don't have to worry about leaving their home now on top of that. So we're eliminating the stress. Your fees are obviously much lower because someone's coming into your home to take care of your pet. They're going to have the comforts of any of their special toys, their special beds, and a human being is going to be with them the whole time, making sure that they're getting enrichment, they're getting to go outside and play ball, getting those extra belly rubs, and even I've got to show you this video even a bedtime story, which some of our pet parents is a special instruction of a bedtime story to
Are
their
you
dogs.
serious? Okay, we'll put that video in the comments of these posts for this session. So
Absolutely.
for the pet sitting, just to be clear, is it like just a drop-in or is it overnight? Like what does that look like with pet sitting specifically?
Because we're seeing such an uptick in the drop-in pet care market, which is kind of a newer request, but there are a lot of pets that truly need that overnight pet sitting one-on-one attention and care. And most of that is kind of streaming from typical kind of anxiety, separation anxiety. But with our drop-in pet care services, it's also servicing a unique dog or cat, even, especially cats, right?
Sure.
Cats don't need somebody to read them a bedtime story typically, but they do need somebody to come in and feed them twice a day. They do need somebody to come in and change their litter box. And they do, potentially want some belly scratches as well. So with the drop-in pet care, you're able to service unique dogs and cats as well. Some dogs are fine being alone throughout the day and night. They just
Sure.
need some exercise. We'll take them on a quick walk, make sure that they're fed, they have water, and then we'll leave them in their own space. This gives a lot of flexibility for pet parents who are looking for different price ranges and the
Right.
services while still giving very, very custom. care for their dog or cat or iguana or snake. Actually, I'm not coming to your house if you have a snake, though. I want to be clear. We'll send a pet care technician.
Well, that's fantastic. So you've got background checked, approved employees, trained employees, and there's a couple of options I'm hearing. This drop-in service, which sounds amazing. And what's going to be a typical fee for a drop-in service? And is it once, is it twice, three times a day? Once, twice, three times a day?
It's customized for what you and your pet really need. Drop-in pet care, we're seeing an increase too with busy pet parents who are also human parents, right? So
Sure,
I'm working, a 10-hour day and I've got to go pick Sammy up from school. We've got to go to baseball practice, which I don't know. We're not doing baseball right now, but these practices can go till 9 o'clock at night. So you now have sweet little Maggie at home who is just begging to go to the bathroom, would really like some kibble and some water, right? So drop-in pet care services, typical range $30 to $40 per visit. And that again is customizable on what your needs are. But
sure.
that dog is now getting the attention that it's been begging for all day, or the cat. They're getting fed. They're going to go to the bathroom. They're getting some playtime in the backyard or in the living room if the weather's bad. So they're really getting very, very customized one-on-one care for those drop-in visits.
Amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, who else is doing that today? What other companies are providing that in-home drop-in service visits like that? Is it dominated by mom and pops, the teenage kid, and the college kid home for summer? Who's doing it?
Yeah, we're seeing a slight uptick in mom and pops, but it's really just asking anyone you have in your phone who might be available and you're scrambling, right? So
Sure.
by providing that trusted relationship already, you know what number you're going to call. You know that somebody's going to show up once they've committed. You know that they know exactly. We have your entire pet's profile in our CRM that our pet care specialists will be able to access and exactly what that dog needs, what that cat needs, when they need it. So it's really an emerging service. So we want to make sure that we are that answer for those pet parents.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. I mean, I can think of some pets, that might need medication services or even pet parents that again, they're out of town, their pet needs those additional services while they're gone. The at home service sounds amazing. And so you've got dog walking, you've got the at-home visits and sitting, and of course your mainstay that was the initial spark of the business, scooping. Tell us a little bit about that and the benefits and how you help educate a client about what's needed in that industry.
Yeah, I mean, poop scooping, it's one thing that we always think that somebody else is going to do the job at home till you're running in the backyard and you've got two kids, playing soccer, as I did the other night, and you're in your own backyard, you're barefoot, and now you've got a whole disaster on your hands, right? Total meltdown. So really, it's not only for the benefit of the happiness of your family because you're not accusing everyone of who didn't scoop the yard, but it's super toxic, right? The second that it rains, it's going into our waterways. Pet waste is, I mean, it will spread. The bacteria spreads so quickly throughout your yard, potentially tracking into your house. I don't know about you, but I've got a bed sleeper over here, and I think about all the time if I wasn't using this service on a recurring basis. We also, especially this time of year, we push our yard refresh treatment. Every dog owner should be using that after a scoop. So our technicians, completely safe. It's a bioenzyme treatment. And what it's doing, it's attacking all the toxins at the base of the grass once we've removed it. And it's also a very pleasant deodorizer. I don't know what's the weather like this week in South Carolina for you, Kelly, but it's 97 degrees every day
Yeah,
forever, I think.
always an afternoon shower somewhere.
Yep. Yep. So we're coming in, we're making sure there's minimal waste in your yard throughout the week. All of our customers, we highly recommend a minimum of a weekly service for pet waste removal, but twice weekly, especially in the summertime, and multiple dogs is ideal. Then we'll do the yard refresh treatment after we've scooped the yard. And then the greatest thing is we can also say, hey, guess what? We're taking Maggie on a walk after we scoop. So now
Sure.
we're servicing that customer with our pet waste removal as well as our dog walking
Yeah,
services.
that's fantastic. And so, just to be clear, so you've got a like a deodorizing spray or a treatment that you spray over where the poop was just picked up. And
Yes, we'll
there's
actually, yep. So we'll do that after the visit. All you have to do, text your location. I'm going to add this on. We recommend that you do it a minimum of once a week, twice a week if you are getting twice a week service. But it is great to really tackle those
now
toxins.
is that an add-on fee or is that part of the scoop? How's that
That's an
priced?
additional fee. Yep, additional
Okay.
fee. So ranging anywhere from $10 to $20 depending on your territory.
So we're already there. We're scooping. It's an upsell add-on to the ticket. So speaking of sales, what's that kind of lifetime customer, you know, sales look like
Yeah,
from one client who sits, scoops, and strides or strolls or walks?
so speaking specifically on the data that we have, being an emerging brand, we are still collecting obviously what
Sure.
our ideal customer lifetime value is. But up to today, it is astonishing. Our average at our locations is 92% retention rate. That
Wow.
is because of the need of the time back in the pet parent's day, whether it be poop scooping, dog walking, the drop-in pet care, and as well as that occasional pet sitting. But it is because we are their number one solution for so many essential services that pet parents need for, again, poop scooping, dog walking, drop-in pet care.
Right. And so if what's your typical suggested retail fee for that scoop?
Yeah, it really depends on your territory, right? So
Okay.
average range $25 per scoop. A lot of factors play into that though. So increasing our average ticket by adding that yard refresh treatment. If they have multiple pets, the size of their yard, and then the frequency.
So if I'm a customer, I'm getting weekly service of just scooping, that's $1,300 a year. Yeah. And
With
that
one
doesn't include
dog
hang
and
on
no yard
one
refresh treatment.
one dog, no refresh, $1,300 for the year. That's a pretty good repeat business. I think that's probably a little more than we may spend on our hair every year. Kidding. Well, I can't speak for
More,
you.
more than I do.
But well, gosh, that's fantastic. Well, when it comes to some of the systems, you talked a little bit about the support of kind of the loyalty brands umbrella, John Hewitt, and a collective team of people for support with franchises. Obviously, we're talking about marketing support, operations support, and systems in place. When you look at some of the tools that you provide to your franchisees, you mentioned earlier a CRM. What type of tools do we get in the arsenal of helping to execute your franchise plan?
One of the most important things that we've learned is really the communication with our customers is key.
Okay.
And that does start with our 90-day launch plan. So making sure that our customers understand our services, why we offer them and the benefit for them and their pets. And then making sure that that journey of communication continues into our CRM. Our CRM is built with automations for our pet care specialists and our franchisees to make sure that we're still providing consistent communication and a consistent high level of service while we're also being able to effectively run our routes every day. Our route density is so key, right? We want to service every pet parent in a specific neighborhood when our truck's on the road. So, as many pet parents as we can service within an hour is an ideal indicator of how we're going to be able to grow to an entire fleet in our market. And our CRM gives us all the tools that we need. You can press one button, make sure that your route is as dense as possible and simplified so that your pet care specialist is servicing more pets every hour.
So less time on the road, more time scooping, striding, strolling, and sitting.
Yep.
More money. Uh,
More revenue in your pocket.
yeah. And so if you talked about the 90-day path, the communication, so the communication tools built in SMS presumably in your CRM, so the communication's happening between the client, the technician, and or the owner has visibility to that.
Absolutely. They're also getting a report after every visit. We want to make sure they know that their gate is closed after every scoop, their yard is clean and secure. We want them to know that their house is closed and secure, but most importantly, that their pet is happy and probably pretty exhausted after a nice little stroll around the neighborhood. So we communicate that after every single visit.
Wow, that's amazing. I'm just envisioning the pictures you get back. Well, wait a minute, I found it. I found a pile of poop.
Don't worry, we're on our way. And then we'll turn on our little poop radar.
That's hilarious. Well, any when you're looking at obviously partnering as the president of the company, you got a lot on your shoulders. When you're looking at people that you want to, you know, recruit as new franchise owners, what are you looking for? Who do you want as part of the Scoop Squad with Coopers?
What's really cool about this business and about the systems that we've built out and that we provide is you don't have to have any experience, right? You don't have to have any experience running a pet business. We provide all of that for you. Who we're really looking for is somebody who has a growth mindset, who is coachable, who's in wants to be involved in their community and really create that brand presence so that they have multiple trucks within their territory and they are the number one solution for total pet care. If we have somebody joining who is willing to follow our systems and execute them, let's go to the moon.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I know, again, part of the loyalty brand, you've got some franchisees now that own multiple brands. And you recently had someone, I think, that owns one of the pet grooming brands that has expanded. And how many trucks did they launch at one time?
So one truck, but launching in multiple territories. But we've
Okay.
just seen incredible adaption of customers. Again, you're servicing the same customer with additional services, whether you're grooming pets, hiking them even, and just all under the whole umbrella of loyalty. We want to be the number one name, all of our names, number
Yeah.
one name for all of our pet parents.
Yeah. So the crossover marketing, obviously, the same client that's paying premier price to have their dog groomed is likely going to adapt the services of Cooper Scoopers. Well, any last parting pieces of advice or encouragement for folks that are considering the franchise?
Not only is this franchise growing, I mean, we're seeing $20 billion worth of growth in our four core services over the next 5 years. It's a really exciting time to get in, find the territory that you're looking to grow. We're also a really incredibly supportive team here, and we like to have a lot of fun. So I would just
Well,
love for anyone who has those traits of
well,
wanting to own their territory.
one thing we didn't talk about was what's it going to cost me? How much money, how much cash do I need to have to get a Cooper Scoopers up and running and making money?
If you are making the decision today to join our Cooper Scoopers family, it is only $15,000 for our franchise fee. And we have tons of opportunities if you are already in the Loyalty Brands family. So talk to one of our reps and we'll get you signed up.
Okay, awesome. And so that franchise fee and investment is roughly what, 35 to $45,000?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you for your time today and look forward to seeing all the great successes that Cooper Scoopers and you are going to have in the future.
Thanks, Kelly.